I have been working with Alfresco for more than 5 years, and if there is something I really like to work with Alfresco is the liberty to experiment with it. So last year, we have been integrating semantic web technologies into Alfresco, and that is what this presentation is about. So this is going to be pretty much the agenda for today. I'm going to give you an introduction to the semantic web and semantic technologies, because how many of you know what the semantic web is? And who really know what it is? Because sometimes people mix semantic technology and semantic web. So I'm going to try to clarify what's different, okay? And then I'm going through the ECKM, is what we name the Enterprise Content and Knowledge Management. And this is going to be pretty much the functionalities I'm going to demonstrate. So I don't want to be very technical, because I don't think this is semantic web is something that I can explain in 50 minutes. So I'm going to be more practical. I'm going to demonstrate what are the benefits of using semantic web in the content management system. Does anybody know who this guy is? No? It's my uncle, yeah. This guy is Sir Tim Berners-Lee, and he was the inventor of the World Wide Web. So a long time ago, about 22 years, this guy, when he was working in the CERN, he invented he wrote the first version of the HTTP protocol. He defines the... No? Yes. Yes. So when this guy invented the first HTML, his idea was to create a network of data, but some other researchers saw the benefits of writing documentation using HTML. And the reason is because one of the functionalities, or one of the features of the HTML, is the possibility to create hyperlinks among documents. So this is pretty much what he said about the semantic web. He's very active in the semantic web community because that is what his first idea. So semantic web is not about just putting data on the web. It's about linking the data. So you can describe the information not only for people, but for machines. So machine has to be able to understand the information. Well, this is the evolution of the internet that we know today. So when he invented the World Wide Web, in the beginning, the first document he wrote, he couldn't link it with anything because the World Wide Web didn't exist. So hyperlinks didn't have any meaning, you know. So then people started to use HTML to write documentation. Companies and websites started to rise up. So there were more and more documents linked among them. So that was the first version of the web. Then well, we can say that the first version of the web is just to the people are the consumer for read the information that are on the machines. So machines provide the information and people consume the information. So then we started with the movement of the Web 2.0. The Web 2.0 is more social. It is not about the information created by companies that are in the database and on the static HTML pages and consumed by people, but the information are created by people and consumed by people. Now there is a new movement because we are interested not only in people to be able to understand the information. We want the machines to understand the information because there are a lot of semantic technologies that can use that information to build richest systems. So the idea is that one day you can ask anything to a system and the system will provide you with the answer. So a few years ago, some companies or websites decide to open their data. So they started to use semantic web standards to provide that information to anyone who want to use it. So here we've got a few of them in 2007. So DBpedia is the semantic, is Wikipedia, but in a semantic web format. So we can use it with our software. So we can get the information from Wikipedia in a standard format, let's say. And GeoName is about geolocalization, is more about all the political information around the world. Music Brain is a community, so anyone can write information about artists, albums, songs, and that's it. So in 2007, these websites or companies started to open their data, so they started to link the information. So they started to create connection between their data and others. So for example, if you go to Wikipedia and check the Berlin, so you will get all the history about Berlin, the population, you will get political details. But in Wikipedia, there is a link to GeoNames, or there were a link actually to GeoNames. So if you want to check more about, or you want to know more about Berlin, you can go to or navigate to GeoNames and get that information, latitude, longitude, and that's it. So this is when the web of data started. So these companies or these websites started to share information among them. It is more like a World Wide Web database. This is the picture in 2011. So a lot of companies, governments are providing the data. So there are information about media, geographic information, publications, governments, science, and all this information is connected together. So you can start looking something in this node here, and you can navigate through the graph to the other side. So everything is connected. It is not only documents that are hyperlinked among them, but the data is hyperlinked. This information is there, it's out there, it's free, so you can connect your system and start using it. Describe your data. Everything is about description. So if you want that to build research systems, you have to describe the data. So for example, if you're writing a document about Michael Jordan, if you doesn't make the reference to which Michael Jordan are you talking about, you are creating a new instance of Michael Jordan, because the machines won't understand which Michael Jordan are you talking about. So what you can do is, when you write your document, you can make the reference. This Michael Jordan make reference to the Michael Jordan in DBpedia. So you are not creating a new instance. You are making a reference to a Michael Jordan that is somewhere. Difference between semantic web and semantic technologies. So in the left-hand side, we've got the semantic web. So semantic web defines the standards for modeling information, for creating instance of creating instance of the data. It defines a standard query language, so you can use Sparkle, for example, to query all the nodes in the World Wide Web database I mentioned earlier. So it defines also the triple and quad store. So in semantic web, everything that you define is a triple, is subject, predicate, and object is like what we learn when we study languages. And that is how the information is stored in the system. It's about predicates. It's about this triple, subject, predicates, and objects. And semantic technologies are technologies that try to understand the meaning of the information to build systems. One of the most important for us, for the ECKM, is the natural language processing, because it's the one that will let us extract the information from documents, so we can relate documents among them. So we are going to see that now. And these are the technologies that we are using nowadays in ECKM. So we are using semantic web formats, particles, because we are using DBpedia to extract the information that we need. When we write HTML, we are tagging the data with RDFA. Triple and quad store is where we store the information, the semantic information. And these are the semantic technologies we are using for as well. Before talking about what we have done in Alfresco, I want to mention this project. So AKS is a European project. Is funded by the European Union, and what it wants to do is gather universities, development companies, and vendors, because most of the research happens in the university, and vendors and development companies don't know about it. So what they want is gather all these entities and talk about the semantic and what is happening in the semantic world and start working together. Everything that is created in AKS is released by with an open source license, and it tries to follow the standards. So we joined the IKS project in 2010. So IKS project is going to finish by the end of this year, but it has been very successful. So these are the three main projects that has been built or created or defined in the IKS. The first one is the IKS is Interactive Knowledge Stack, and it defines the architecture for building a semantic web enterprise content management system. I will go to that later. Apache Stanbol. So some of the code that were created for the stack has been released to the Apache Foundation. And Apache Stanbol defines a web framework for building ECM, semantic ECM system. And BY is the front end for writing semantic web contents. So we could say that Apache Stanbol would be the backend for building a semantic web ECM, and BY would be the front end. Okay, so we'll see how they work later. And then going back to the IKS defines all this architecture using Apache Stanbol and BY. Okay. So ECKM, Enterprise Content and Knowledge Management. ECKM use semantic web and semantic technologies and to add knowledge management capabilities to Alfresco, so richer interfaces can be built upon it to improve the user experience in content management. So that's what we want to do. We don't want to be very technical. We want just to be effective what we build. These are the technologies that we are using for the ECKM. Alfresco doesn't need any presentation. Apache Stanbol is the web framework for building semantic web ECM systems. Mahout is the machine learning, so it can process the information and get with a result. Vi is the front end for create semantic contents, and Apache Solar, that is the search engine based on Lucene. And these are the functionalities that we have implemented so far. Actually, recommendation is not semantic, so I'm not considering it semantic, but we have included the recommendation as part of the ECKM in the same product, let's say. So language detection. So we create upload the document, and the system will detect in which language the document is written. Entities extraction. So we can extract people, places, and organization within the documents, because only a few part of the information that we store in Alfresco for a document, for example, if we have a document of 100 pages, the information, the structured information is just the 1% of the information is the metadata, and let's say 99% is the unstructured information. We cannot do anything with that information. That information is unstructured. So we have to extract information from that text. And that is what entity extraction is about. Semantic annotation, so it's basically the integration with Vi and Alfresco for writing semantic web contents. Intelligent search, use semantic annotation, use disambiguation, we will see how it works, and use Apache Solar for building intelligent facets. Recommendations is based on the user navigation, based on the likes in a document, we can recommend documents to the user. Like Amazon, you know, when you go to Amazon and see some books, next time you go to Amazon, Amazon will recommend you some other books that you may also like. That is what recommendation is all about. We are not going to demo recommendations today because I don't think we are going to have that time, but I just wanted to mention it, okay? So let's demo it. So the demo is going to be a recorded video because I don't want to take the risk of doing it in live. But it's working. If you want to see it working, just let me know later, and we'll do a demo for you. So I'm going to create a few documents in different languages: English, French, and Spanish. So if we go English, French, multi-language, we have a document that is written in 2 languages. So let's see what happens. So we have a new property called languages. That one is written in English. So John Lennon, biography in French. It's detected in French. And let's see what's happened with the multi-language document. Spanish and English. So you can have more than one language in a document. For example, if you have a contract or an agreement that has to be written in both languages because the 2 parts of the agreement speak different languages, the system is able to detect both languages. So let's see what we can do with these languages. I search by John, so all the documents I just created is make a reference to John, and I can build the fastest search in the left-hand side with the language. This is more like what Google does. So when you search by something in Google, it let you filter by a language and by location. We are not doing the location yet, but we hope to do that in the future. Okay, that's what language detection is so far. So the next one would be the entity extraction. Again, I'm going to create a few documents, just 4. 3 of them talks about the Beatles, and the other one is Elton John. So if we check now Elton John, we have a new section called entities, and a system has extracted the entities that is related with this document. So we are now identifying people, places, and organizations, okay? So we click in the Diana, the Princess of Wales. I can get the information. Where this information is coming about? Where do you think this information is coming about? Is coming from? So, no, you can't. So, when the entity is extracted, I have to check if that entity exists somewhere. I use the World Wide Web database. I use that big graph to get information about this entity. So, in this case, I went to DBpedia, asked for Diana, the Princess of Wales, and get all this information from there. Get a description, I get the website, and the last one is related documents. So if I have 2 documents that have in common the same entity, I could say that the documents are related. It's a simple relationship, and it's done by the system. It's simple, but it's effective. So now the same document is related with it. So there aren't any more documents, but we will see samples now. So if we check the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, now we've got more related documents. Apart from Elton John, that is the document we are currently looking at, we've got John Lennon and Paul McCartney. All of them are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That is a museum in Ohio. Okay. So now I can navigate to John Lennon, get more entities. Paul McCartney is one of his colleagues in the Beatles. Liverpool City, so the Beatles born in Liverpool, and John Lennon is also from Liverpool. Finally, the Beatles. George Martin is the producer of the Beatles. Last one is UK. So this is interesting. We've got a new field here, population. So if you understand what is the information that is stored in DBpedia on these places, you can get all the information that you need for your system. So in this case, I identified that United Kingdom is a place, so I can get the population field. I can get the population information and put it in my in my system. I don't know, it has to be pretty much that 61 million. Okay, I think that's everything from entity extraction. Semantic annotations. So in Alfresco Share, I have created a new option in the create content combo box that is annotated HTML. So in this interface, what I have done is I get rid of the WYSIWYG that comes with Alfresco and create and replace it with by. By is the front end for write semantic web contents. So this John Lennon biography. So now I put all the text in there. Okay. So this is an inline editor. So there is no text area where you write the text. It's just in the HTML directly. So we check the annotate, and we get all the entities in this document. So John Winston Lennon, person in Wikipedia. So this is what I would say. Yeah. This is what I said before. I get the entity. This is Lennon or John Lennon. We can use alias as well. And I have to check if that entity exists somewhere. So I can relate my document with information somewhere else. So again, a place, Liverpool, New York City. Of course, Paul McCartney. Okay. Now, if there are some entities that I don't like, or I'm consider that it is not important for me to annotate in my document, I can get rid of them. Okay, teenager, songs. So now, accept all my changes. I'm happy with all these entities. Then I can save my semantic web content. So the preview doesn't work because it didn't work when I was recording the video, sorry. But it's a proper HTML. So edits, and I get all the same semantic web content. Liverpool, music business, Richard Nixon, of course, this. Okay, there is only one left. That is intelligent search. Is what before. Use intelligent search. What we are going to see is I'm going to create some documents. 3 of them talks about orange, orange the color, orange the fruit, and orange city in California. And 4 of them talks about Johns. Okay, 4 different Johns. So we are going to see is this ambiguation. So we are going to search by orange, and we are going to get all the documents that talks about orange. But the next search, I'm going to specify which orange I want to I want to search with. Okay, so I can search with orange the fruit, or orange the color, or orange the city in California. That is called disambiguation. I'm not going to explain the technical bit because that is the guy. All the technical questions go to that guy. All the mathematical questions go to that guy over there. So Orange, this is a keyword search by Orange, so I get all these 3 documents talking about oranges. Orange, yes. This is the disambiguation. With the word orange, I can ask the World Wide Web database and get the different orange that there are in those systems, in those places. For now, I'm using only DBpedia for the demo. So I asked DBpedia, give me all the orange that you've got in your system. So we've got Orange County in California, that is different for Orange the city, is the color, the fruits, orange in Texas. Orange seems to be like what's the name, Springfield? Is over there. So I'm going to filter by the color. So I get orange the color, the document that is talking about orange the color, and it is ignoring the other 2. Same with the fruit. And finally with the city in California. Okay, so now we are going to do the same with John. But first of doing a composed disambiguation, I will let you know what it is. We have built facets using the entities that have been extracted. So these facets, we can say is intelligent, so the user doesn't need to provide the information, so the system will provide that information for them. So all these entities has been automatically extracted from the documents. So I search John, I've got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame again. So I can filter my results by those Johns that are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Related with Paul McCartney, I got John Lennon. Okay, so Elton John is not related with, I don't know. Again, John, and now this is going to be the same disambiguation, but using a composed name. So if I search by John Smith, I'm not interested only on the people who is named John Smith, but if it has a middle name or another name at the end, a second surname, I want to get them as well. So John Smith, and I've got 4. Comic creator, a scientist, and 2 persons. Those are, all of them are persons, obviously. So John Smith, the comic writer. John Maynard Smith, a scientist. Okay, that's it. That's intelligent search. Let's go back to the presentation. What's the future of ECKM? So we are going to release a beta version at the beginning of the next year. So we already have the beta version, but we are testing, so we want to release a beta that is tested. And this is pretty much the backlog. We don't know yet when we are going to have this functionality, but probably next year we will cover most of them. So the first one is topic detection. So if I upload a bunch of documents, I want to detect what are those documents talking about, like Second World War or crisis in Europe or whatever. Reasoning support. Reasoning, if I've got two entities that are related, for example, I can search using semantic in the World Wide Web databases. I can search across the databases. I'm not going into the details because thesaurus management. Thesaurus is like a very big vocabulary, so we can define the vocabulary. We can relate words. For example, I can relate synonyms. I can relate one word in English with one word in Spanish. So we can use that thesaurus to build a complex search. So if you search by Apple in English, I want to get all the documents that talks about apples in English and Spanish, for example. We can do that with a thesaurus because we can replace, so we can translate the queries. Classification of documents. Using machine learning, we can say all these documents talks about health, these documents talks about politics. So we want to do that as well in Alfresco. And support for RDFA and microformats in Alfresco WCM quick start. So RDFA is just a way to describe the information in HTML pages. So we can describe the data. That's what this is all about description, about describing the data. Okay, so that's everything. I think that I finished earlier. I've got 10 minutes left. This is contact information. Head to Ezequiel for whatever you need. I will redirect you to the proper guy. But if you have mathematical and complex questions, go to that guy over there. So, any questions? Actually, I think there are about 10 languages, because we are using Apache Stanbol for detecting languages, and currently I think there are about 10 or 13 languages. Yes. Yes, you can, but we haven't implemented that yet. But yeah, so there is a project called Apache UIMA. So with Apache UIMA, you can do that. You can do that with audio files, with images and videos as well. Yeah.
Okay. That to the audience. Sure. Just check that's working. Okay.
Hi, this works pretty cool with public persons, but can you describe how business can benefit from that?
Yeah, so now one of the things we are implementing is, instead of asking DBpedia for people, we can ask an Active Directory. So if you have documents with information about employees, you can relate those documents with that with those employees.
Okay.
So that's just one example, but yes. So that's, yeah, we have to do this business ready, otherwise we won't get money with that.
Yeah. Are there some more things which you can, for example, give us for example?
Sorry, what?
Are there some more things where you can give us an example?
So we could use CRM systems, we could use any knowledge repository that's within the organization.
Okay, not only the public ones.
Not only public ones. Given that there's semantic ready, so, but we can obviously help you make it semantic ready.
Or Or you can detect contract numbers, for example. If you have a bunch of documents and those documents have a contract number, you can relate all of them with that contract number.
Question about the status of existing knowledge repositories, so content models for business entities based on, for example, manufacturing needs or SAP entities. What's the status there?
Actually, I think that question is more for that guy there.
So we're targeting Active Directory, you know, those kind of systems. So if the customer says, right, we have information in SAP and we want to use that as a knowledge base, then we'd have to look at it. But yeah, so we're targeting, obviously, Active Directory is quite easy because everyone's got it. And then obviously start knowledge enabling line of business application. So you can start annotating unstructured data in Alfresco against those.
Okay, so basically people haven't yet done ontologies for entities in basic entities in SAP or other systems.
There will be basic entities for industry-specific verticals. So we try and map whatever's in SAP. So if it's SAP for invoice processing, for banking, you know, some kind of vertical, then you try and map it against the standard for that, rather than kind of come up with your own standard.
Yes, so that's what's the status currently? So
you'd have to. There's standards pretty much for a lot of verticals.
okay, can you give any pointers where to look after the conference?
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I thought the annotation stuff you showed off was really cool. I was wondering how, because I tend to work with Word documents or PDFs quite a lot, and I'm wondering how you could integrate that kind of annotation maybe in Share. Have you thought about how that could work?
So, well, actually, I don't think Share is the way to annotate the information in Word documents. So, I think that there are some people that are building plugins for OpenOffice, so you can annotate the text in OpenOffice directly, and then save that information as metadata in the OpenOffice document.
Okay.
So I think you can do the same with the Office OpenXML files, so you can store more metadata into there.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Well, congrats for the job. It's really great. Question. You said it's going to be released next year, beginning of next year?
Yes.
How it's going to be released and which licenses, price tag? How much do we have to pay for this?
Well, I think that's something that we have to discuss later.
Okay, so
But we have,
next question.
It's not because I don't have the it's because I don't have the answer or the correct answer yet. So it's something that. So we are looking for companies to start integrating this technology. I don't know how we are going to share, but it's something that we have to negotiate later.
Okay, and another technical question: what's under the hood? I mean, is it something that is coming? The indexing of the semantic bits are coming from Solar UIMA integration, or I mean,
I mean this solution.
Yes.
This use Apache Stanbol.
Okay. Okay.
Apache Stanbol use Solar and Mahout.
Okay. Right. Thank you.
Hey, just a couple of things. I suppose first off, you showed the sort of the automatic entity identification. Is that correctable? Like, can you, for example, if the user who's just uploaded the document feels that actually that entity is not right, that should be removed? Is that possible?
Yeah. So it is not implemented yet, but once you get all the entities, you can get rid of them. I mean, it is not calculated every time that you get the document. So we enhance the document, we get the entities, and then we can get rid of those entities that we are not interested in.
Are you actually building up a knowledge base on the fly? Like, are you building up your own sort of internal knowledge system? Like, just say, for example, you wanted to use this inside the firewall. Like, obviously, you're starting from a position of 0, and you don't have access to DBPD or somewhere like that. So you want to actually start building a web. So obviously, you can start with Active Directory. That gives you your people. But then once you start loading your content in, you obviously want the other types of entities that are not person related.
Yeah.
So can you actually start to build your own?
Yes. So in the beginning, when we start building this project, we integrate Alfresco with an RDF store, a triplet store. So all the metadata, all the information created in Alfresco was saved on a triplet store. So we can use that metadata as entities as well. So
Very quickly, in the last one, just so the work that gets done when you load the document, is that synchronous or asynchronous, and what's the kind of performance impacts as you start to scale?
it is asynchronous.
It's asynchronous.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea what level of impact it has on the system?
Pretty much, but I'm not going to say that. I'll tell you later.